Okay, if I have your attention, we'll get started. We'll begin with our own Matt Lohman leading us in our invocation.
Will you please pray with me? Lord Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day that you've given us. Thank you for the rain that we needed. Father, you always provide everything that we need, and we are so good and so loving. We thank you for the many blessings that you've bestowed upon this state, upon this town, and upon this district, Lord God. We just thank you. We thank you for those who have a heart to serve, a heart to teach, a heart to guide and raise. And Father, we thank you for the support for those people. And Lord, we just pray that you would just continue to work in each of us, Lord, to carry about your will. We pray, Father, for this board. We pray for this meeting. We pray for the employees of EPS. And just pray, Lord, for your blessings, your wisdom, and your peace. Father, we give you the praise and the glory for all that you are and all that is good in this district and in these people, Lord. We give you the praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Matt. Call the meeting to order. We'll begin with roll call. Colonel Jans.
Here.
Matt Lohman.
Here.
Randy Long.
Here.
Chad Mance. Here. Kim Tinius.
Here.
Tori Turnbow.
Here.
Matt Sampson. Here. And Joe Blackwood is absent. Okay, that takes us to presentations.
Our spotlight student this evening is from Eisenhower Elementary School, and Miss Shannon Crowley, the principal there, will introduce.
Good evening, everyone. I am happy to present to you Mr. Lajikit Caleb Clanry. He is a fifth grader in Miss Brunson's class out at Eisenhower Elementary, and he is the son of Mom Serlinda Ling and Dad Otani Aban. While he's in school, Caleb loves to write, and he loves arts and crafts. He enjoys writing because he feels that he is good at doing his writing, and he loves arts and crafts because he loves to learn about the history of the art. He is also a student leader at our campus. Caleb serves on our Safe School and Healthy School committees, and he is also a member of the leadership team at Eisenhower this year. In his community, Caleb enjoys playing volleyball. He also enjoys playing baseball and basketball. And he also loves to sing and dance, which is very fitting for Caleb because he is also a member of our honor choir at Eisenhower this year. I'll now give Caleb a chance to just share a little bit about what he enjoys about being at Eisenhower.
I am most proud that I am an Eisenhower Eagle. It teaches me so much about my growth mindset, education, and friendship.
At this time, let's please stand for our pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms.
For you, and we want to take your picture, and you did a great job.
Very good job. Let's give him one more round of applause. Good job this evening.
Our secondary spotlight student is from Longfellow Middle School, and Mr. John Mitchell will introduce.
Good evening. I've got Chris Flores with me. I would say a modest young man, but very strong leader. In sixth grade, he started making a name for himself. I asked my sixth grade teachers, I need some help for the top 5 dinner, and without a doubt, Chris. And then in seventh grade, I needed some help with graduation, and without a doubt, the seventh grade teachers said Chris. And as those years went by, I got to know Chris, and he is very modest, but he is a man of character and a great young leader. In fact, when I told him that we were going to do this tonight, the next day he brought me a list of about 5 other students he thought were higher qualified than himself. But I said, no, Chris, that's why you're going to the board tonight. All right, here he is.
Hello, good evening. My name is Chris Rice. I'm an 8th grader at Longfellow Middle School, and I have found a supportive community where exploring new subjects and building lasting friendships easy. My favorite classes are Algebra 1 because I enjoy the challenge and teamwork. Longfellow also offers many extracurricular activities, of which I participate in Student Council, Stuco, and Junior Honor Society. I also enjoy the weight training class. I think it's a good way to improve student credit. My favorite part of school is the time I spend with my friends and teachers. The Longfellow staff genuinely cares about our success, not just in school, but in life. I want to recognize my 8th grade teachers for the exceptional support. Mr. Bocas, Mr. Logan, Ms. Regal, and Ms. Ingo. I'm honored to be able to represent my school, and I want to thank everyone for having me here. Thank you.
Great job. Our next recognition tonight is a teacher from Enid High School, and I'm going to let Mr. Liddell introduce Mr. Swanner and tell us about his program.
Good evening. Kind of honored to introduce this guy. We've had a fascinating relationship, and we sometimes look at each other, and I think the scientist and the artist kind of go a little bit, we've got to connect somewhere along the line. Well, that certainly happened, and he's a great story. He's sharing some things that you guys will get to check out that he's created for you all, so hopefully you'll enjoy those. But what was at Enid High School, the Fab Lab, Fab as in fabrication, and the creation of different ideas coming to life, 3D printers, sketching, engraving, all that stuff. Mr. Swanner took the helm of that program when Mr. Parker moved on to Pastures New. And when he did, he had a vision. And his vision was strong, and we had to kind of revisit, and with some really good district support, some other things came to life as well. And I'm going to turn the floor over to him so he can share some of that. It was rebranded, renamed, and came up with a pretty cool story there. So, Mr. Swanner, tell us your story about what you got going on and what you do on the daily.
All right. Hi, board. My name's Andy. I just had like a kind of an idea how to make things better. I don't particularly like, well, I can't say that. I'm not good at public speaking either. I came up with the idea that everything I teach is something that the kids can actually apply someday and make money with. I figured that's kind of what we're here for. We're to teach kids how to make a living someday. And everything that I teach, every project that I have, is something that eventually, in the spare time or in their full time, they could actually make a living with. And I mean, to me, that's the definition of education. If you can't educate yourself to make a living, then what's the point, right? Also, the other application is fundraising, because the things that we can do in our lab and create are way, way, way better than a lot of fundraising things that we currently do. They're higher profit, lower margins, much, much easier to, I mean, you can see. Would you rather have something like that or like a chocolate bar? Mainly, I just, you know, I've only been a teacher 3 years. I worked at the base for 30 years. I retired from out there. I'm not a teacher by trade, by any stretch of the imagination. Mr. Liddell was kind enough to give me the job, and he's trusted me a lot, and I think that I've fulfilled a lot of my promise so far, but I got a lot to go. We got a lot more to actually accomplish so far, but that's kind of where our progress is right now. We're just kind of working on other projects that I can incorporate into eventually, teaching kids how to make a living with. And basically, I'd like to change our fundraising a lot. So,
Hey, Mr. Swanner, tell them about the coaster that you made here. Do you mind?
oh yeah, the sports animal. Yeah, that was part of the article. Kind of why I got recognized, I guess. It's because I was in the paper. I listen to the sports animal every morning, and one of the DJs did a fundraiser called 12 Days of Spinoza. He does around the state, drives all around the state, and collects money for an Oklahoma City charity. Well, I was listening to the show, and they came up with like a slogan for the next Thunder season, because the Thunder is one team that unites like all Oklahomans, right? Everybody's behind the Thunder. So I created a coaster for him and sent him a picture, and he liked it so much that he came up and brought my class pizza, and he wants us to do like another set of like Christmas ornaments for the upcoming 12 Days of Spinoza. Yeah, exactly, just like that one. Yeah, I gave one to Jane. Yes, absolutely. And he wants to give a thank you to everybody that donates, and he's going to use our class for that. And that's a pretty big deal. It really is, because our materials is going to go all around the state to a bunch of different people now. And that's all due to our program and Mr. Dell's faith in me. So.
Tell them what you've named the program.
Oh, it's called the Foundry. I hated Fab Lab. Fab Lab was I didn't like the name. So the Foundry is a much more, it's a much better name, Foundry. I bought a laser engraver for it, and that's what we make the coasters out of. We make coins. We sandcasted rings. I taught all of our kids how to make a ring, and we used the engraver to put their own initials or whatever art that they wanted on it, and that's stuff that they get to keep. And once you learn how to sandcast something, you're in business as a jeweler, basically. That's a pretty good deal, and it's like less than $50 in materials to even get started, and that's what I do. I try to get kids, because kids are broke anyway, but it gives them something low cost that they can actually take with their own hands, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of elbow grease, and they can produce a living with. And, that's kind of the whole, the basis of the Foundry is something like that, where the kids can actually, get away from the core courses for a little bit and use their creativity a little bit more. But yeah, just like that. Absolutely.
I have a question.
Question real quick.
I have a quick question. What grade students are in your class? Is it 9 through 12? All four?
All
Okay.
four.
Awesome.
Yeah. I wish I didn't have so many freshmen, but we do. We got them.
Thank
We
you.
got them in the studio with them. Yes, they are.
I was even on Spinoza.
Oh, yeah, you were up there, weren't you?
Yeah, I never had three people call and tell me. You were on the sports animal with Enid High School.
Sure.
Mr. Swanner, keep up the good work. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming out.
Okay, that takes us to item 2, audience to visitors. We have none this evening. Then item 3 is our superintendent's report. Dr. Darrow.
Okay, the first item here is the strategic plan update, and we're going to discuss goal area 3, object 2, culture and community, increasing stakeholder involvement. And everyone should have a packet there at your area that's paperclipped together. I'm going to walk you through this with my friends that are coming up here. I've got Ms. Mary Withy from Prairie View, Ms. Jamie Jarnigan from Hayes, Mr. John Mitchell from Longfellow, Mr. Prokopis is going to be representing the high school, and Mr. Rob Mills will be is our athletic director. So, board members, if you'll start with this page right here, it should be the very first page that we have. We've basically got 7 areas that we're going to talk about tonight that again focuses on goal area 3, object 2. And first one is define the purpose, goals, and guidelines of the Partners of Education program. It's commonly called the PIE, P-I-E. So if you'll look at the first attachment, it should be the second page behind the staple. As a group, as a committee, we define the purpose for the PIE, and I'm just going to hit some of the high points and have Ms. Jarnigan help me out with it. But the purpose, again, Enid Public Schools is to create a collaborative, mutual beneficial relationship between the Enid Public Schools and the Enid community. The PIE program aims to enhance the educational experience for students, provide valuable support to teachers, schools, and foster a sense of community, engagement, and ownership of success of Enid Public Schools. We've targeted 4 goals, which I've listed down below that. Number 1, enhance student learning and develop. Obviously, number 1 would be our students. Number 2 would be support and empower our educators and our teachers. Number 3 would be strengthen the community and school-based relationship. And then number 4 is leverage our community resources. On the back side of that page, we've got 4 guidelines for the PIE program. Number 1 is recruiting and onboarding, making sure we're doing that correctly, making sure we're getting the proper background checks, et cetera, before people come in our school building. Number 2, identify the roles and responsibilities of the PIE, or Partners of Education. Again, that could be community partners, that could be school and teachers, central office staff. Number 3, the partnership activities. Specific examples are mentoring, tutoring, volunteering, and resource and financial support as well as others. The 4th one is safety and ethics. All participants must adhere to the school district's code of conduct. Confidentiality and student information is paramount. Partners will be trained and expected to respect and follow the FERPA and other privacy laws. And the very last one, or guidelines, is evaluation. It'll be evaluated regularly to ensure that we're meeting the goals and maintain mutual beneficial for both parties. Ms. Jarnigan, you want to chime in there?
Sure, and I think these were things that we've been doing within our school systems. We were just really looking to refine the definitions, the purpose, the goals, and be more strategic with it, more precise with it. I also think that I really like the guidelines that we laid out. They're very specific as a committee, that we have to have our background checks. What are the roles and responsibilities, that we want specific things that we're looking for. So as a committee, those were just kind of things we talked about. And I think these are, like I said, things that we are doing, but I think we're being a lot more strategic and a lot more planned with this part of it. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am.
That's kind of my point.
Let's go to point 2. Point 2 is develop a needs assessment for each site. Needs can include human, physical, or financial needs. So if you look at the second attachment there, building needs assessment, I'm going to kind of walk through this. First of all, I'm going to start with staffing. And a lot of this, as Mrs. Jarnigan just said, a lot of this is ongoing stuff that we've been doing for many years. But again, staffing will start in early spring, February, March. It'll be assessed by the HR director, federal programs director, special services director, and assistant superintendent. So we'll sit down and we'll go through the staffing needs, and we'll look at student enrollment numbers and also staff vacancies and potentially attrition. Fiscal, not fiscal, but facility improvements, bullet number 2. As we enter the summer break, principals will work with our CFO, Director of Information Technology, and Director of Property Services on what facility improvements need to be completed during the summer break. Obviously, summer's the best time if we're going to be painting walls, or we're going to be working on flooring, or even HVACs or other items. Another thing that we're working on currently is technology. Summertime is an optimal time to try to get that stuff done while kids aren't in the building. Third bullet down is federal programs. So once the federal programs budget is released from the State Department, our federal programs director will start working with each school site on their federal allocation and do a needs assessment by all building principals. And again, we can finalize not only the district budget, but also the school's individual budget. Ms. Withy, you want to chime in there?
Well, I think you pretty much summarized it all, but yes, for staffing needs, Jane Johnson and her ladies in her office do a really good job at helping us fill vacancies and planning career fairs that some of us site principals attend on the district's behalf. Facility improvements, Dr. Robinson sends all building principals an email in May and say, hey, what are your top priorities for the inside of your building, the outside of your building? Let us know what those are. And then, of course, federal programs. Leslie works very closely with each site building principal as well in terms of that, and helping us with our needs and our budgets and figuring those things out. And again, volunteer needs. We have quite a few areas within all of our buildings that we love getting extra assistance with. So we truly, truly love our volunteers, and we invite them in our building all the time. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Ms. Withy. Okay, the bottom of that page addresses bullet number 3, and that's analyzing our needs assessment. So analyzing our needs assessment, so everything that I've listed and that we talked about above is simply a framework. That's our annually we go through the calendar year, we'll take the time to analyze those areas, but immediate needs will be addressed immediately by the building principal, assistant superintendent, superintendent. So example of that would be if we would have a large classroom, we needed to add an additional class, we would obviously do that. If we would ever need to, I list an example down there, Adams was struck by lightning right before school started. Well, obviously, we're not going to say, well, wait till May. No, we're going to do what we got to do to make sure our kids in our school building are taken care of. This is just a framework. Mr. Prokopis, you want to chime in?
Yeah, it's a good reminder that we really have a methodical and intentional plan for the larger operations between staffing, facilities, but there will be the day-to-day operations. It's always good to know on our site that we can give Dr. Robinson, Dr. Darrow a call when something major happens, a pipe breaks or something, but we can't say we're going to wait until next May to put that on the list. So making sure we got the immediate needs taken care of and then planning for the larger things.
And obviously, I put that on the list, those listed down there as well, but the federal programs, Ms. Withy mentioned earlier, Leslie's always flexible with the federal programs. If immediate need comes out, we'll always take care of our kids and our staff. Okay, number 4, create a list of potential partners. So we've got quite a list. What we did was an audit, and you can kind of see this first part is by building principals. It starts with Adams, and it works all the way through the alphabet. Prairie View, Taft is at the very end, Waller. You can see these are all the pies or the partners in education that we currently already have that are already helping our building. And on the second page, the second bulletin is all of our athletics that are helping us as well. And I know Mr. Mills has only been on the job for a couple months now and hasn't been a full year, but Mr. Mills has already identified a ton of partners that are helping us with our sports programs. And along with that is our volunteer hours as well. But first, let's start with this list. Mr. Mills, you want to add a little bit about your portion of it?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I really only have for 7 of the athletics right now because some of them haven't even begun yet and they don't know who their partners are. We've got some new head coaches, but I would say this, from what I've seen so far, it's pretty overwhelming the amount of partners that we already have. You can just see a lot of these are donations, but it goes beyond donations to just several different volunteer hours from parent groups that are helping out with our athletics. And I haven't gotten, I'm still working on getting our list back from band and from choir and all the other activities as well. But as I looked at the list from the principals and from the ones that I have so far, we're going to keep collecting them. We have a lot of partners in this community already that are really helping us out. I just think at the end of the day, we'll know who all our partners are, so for sure we can thank them along the way, but also we can identify some other partners that maybe want to be a part of helping our schools as well.
Absolutely. And one of the goals that's in the strategic plan is that each school will have 7 pies, 7 partners in education by the end of the school year. And as you can see by that detailed list, we are at a very good place right now already with the relationships that we currently have. Thanks, Mr. Mills. Okay, that takes us to number 5, develop and implement a common process for recording volunteer hours and increase attendance at parent-teacher conferences. That takes me to this QR code. Everyone should have a QR code there. These have been placed at every school entry. And so when a volunteer comes in to volunteer, whether it be tutoring or reading or whatever they may be, they can take their cell phone, they can use this QR code and instantly record hours that they're volunteering at the school site. I pulled it up this afternoon. What was it, guys? We had over 150 hours, or 150 thus far entries already this year, and that's from all of our different school sites. Mr. Mills is trying to capture all the volunteer hours from like band. If you want to talk a little bit about that, it's going to be tough because we got a lot of volunteer behind the scenes.
Just Friday night, the football game, we're going out on the field for the next presentation, just the amount of volunteers we have in our band is pretty overwhelming. We're going to try to come up with a way that our coaches and our activity directors can kind of put that stuff in so we keep track of that, just so we know it, and also to recognize those people for their efforts.
Yep. And on the second half of number 5 is fall of 2025 will be a baseline for parent-teacher conferences, and we'll look to build upon that number. So we're having parent-teacher conferences tonight. All the building principals are keeping tracking all the attendance from parents. We will keep that for the fall. We'll also keep that for the spring, and we'll compare them a year from now. So this will be basically a baseline year, something that we can build on going forward. Number 6, develop a survey for teachers and staff to determine potential volunteer needs and opportunities. We chose a little bit different route than creating a massive survey. What we're going to do is have individual conversations with the building principals, with the teachers, like, hey, let's talk. When we're having that individual conference, pre-conference, or evaluation, what are some areas that you could use some volunteering in your classroom, whether it be a field trip, whether it be tutoring. But we're not going to just blast it out district-wide. We're going to make this more targeted and strategic. Mr. Mitchell, you want to follow up on that?
I think, like Dr. Darrow said, this goes back to the relationships between the administrators in the building and the people that work in the building. The people that work in the building know the needs for volunteerism or anything, and they'll communicate that with the principals, and then we'll just roll that up the food chain and get it done.
Perfect. Thanks, Mr. Mitchell. And then the last thing, which is going to be a lofty goal, but we're working towards it, is the performance. Our goal is to have 1.5 hours of volunteer time per student. So if Mr. Mitchell has 500 students at Longfellow, we're looking to gain that'd be 750 volunteer hours for his school. And again, that's a lofty goal. It's going to be hard to track, but I think we've got a good plan in place. We've got a good team working on it, and we're happy to answer any questions you might have. Board members, any questions?
I don't have any questions, but as a parent/volunteer, I will say I have done this, and it was fine. I mean, it's easy. It's an easy thing, and I think it's just going to have to be trained to teach us all to slow down, track it, and you can track it after you leave the site, and you can go back and do it. So that was helpful. And I will say on parent-teacher conferences, I attended conferences tonight, and in the middle school level, in every classroom, the teacher said, have you signed in? Have you signed in? And so every class I signed in. So hopefully that will help. Not my numbers will help, but the teachers are asking for it to be done. So that is a good sign.
We passed the test, the first test. That's right. Well, thank you. Well, thank you for the committee for being here tonight. Appreciate your input along the way. Thank you, guys. Okay, that takes me, no other questions. That takes me to item B, and that is going to be our Enid High School dropout and college remediation report. And Mr. Liddell is going to be talking about that. This is something that needs to be done every year. This is part of our regional accreditation officers' requirements. So saying that, Mr. Liddell, I'm going to turn this over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Darrow. Good evening again, everyone. Guys, there's a handout if you got it. Annie, give me a nod. Yep, they did, right? And it's 3 pages. I'm going to kind of take you through the bullets on the front. The next page is a landscape printed out spreadsheet, and I'll kind of shape you with that. And then a direct report from the Oklahoma State Department of Education with our dropout report as it currently stands. So let me shape each of these pieces for you and what we've got going on. So our remediation rate comes from the reports as per the state regents for higher education, and that is not out for the 24-25 year yet, so we report almost like a year behind each October. So we're talking about the 23-24, so freshmen entering in the fall of 23. And if you look at that remediation report, and the way I've shaped it, it's actually down the bottom, and you can see the very bottom number in the bottom right is 21.00%. That's the state from the almost 15,000 students that went. We are for Enid High for 23-24, that block above that, 30.7. But if you look above that, the years of 19 and 20 for Enid High, we were at 32%, and then 2020 was 33.3. That was a bit of a weird year. There was a lot of nuances as kids went to college and tried to do virtual college, etc. through COVID. So that's an interesting number. That's a weird one as we look at that, because you'll see that math number's pretty low there from the math percentage. But I shape all that to say we're trending downwards as far as the number of students that need remedial classes. That's a really positive piece. We are aware that the math, and again, it's looking at that COVID number, so it's a 3-year wave, and our math number jumped back up. So if we look down there, we're at 27% for Enid High's math. That's 10% higher, or 9.5% higher than across the state. So that is something that is of concern for us, that we're saying, hey, we're going to look and address that, and we've got lots of things in place as we up our ante in our math performance and so on. But then when you look at our performance for our English was sitting at, in 2019, 19.1%, even in COVID year, 13.8%. We're down to 8% remediation there. So a lot of good things going on there. Not a lot of kids having to go into 0-level English classes. A lot of our students are going through concurrent enrollment that do go into college. They've already got that in their back pocket when they're coming out of our Comp 1 and Comp 2 through our NOC collaboration. So a lot of kids in a good place as they go off to college. I think that 30.7% number is a little high still, so it's something that we're definitely attacking and looking to get more kids with experience with some of our AP options that we're doing. Then of course our concurrent program getting bigger and bigger, higher numbers, and hopefully we're in a better shape there over the next coming years, and our next report will hopefully be even dropped as far as number of students that are having to go into remedial courses. And not that remedial courses are terrible, they just cost you extra money and they're not counting towards your degree. So if we can get our kids a step ahead, it's certainly going to help out. So that's the remediation report. Our dropout rate, that is set where our report in there, and it's a really interesting breakdown because, and I know it's a little small, guys, but the blue numbers give you what those are, and it's the numerator divided by the denominator, how they got our 7.64%. Our graduation goal, one of our key 3 goals at Enid High, was set at 92% or higher. So that 764, the inverse of it, still has us above as long as we get all those kids across the stage, which we push hard to do. So it still works. But that's, again, a year behind on the reporting. So finishing up in 24. So the 25 report, that's looking more at 5.2% as far as current numbers. There's still some kids that have still got to finish out, and then there's still a couple that are questionable. But that 5% rate is really, we feel really strong about that. So we're good where we get there. Some of the things that are positives, and they're kind of in those final bullets there that are little black blocks. The virtual schooling, we feel that we've got an even improved option now. So when kids are choosing to go virtual, some of the things that we've done there, some of the supports are in play. There's a lot of good things happening there, and we feel our kids are finishing strong on that program. Our EHS work schedule, students who are saying, hey, I've got to put food on the table, they can go and work and get some elective credit during that time, a couple hours of their day, or maybe if they're working late, they maybe don't start until 3rd hour. So there's different things in the little bit flexibility in the schedule, which have been huge to support our kids. And then we've got a behaviour solutions program, which Ms. Rowe's been heading up at the high school, and we've got to really trying to remove as many barriers as possible to support our students so that they can streamline and get after things. So we feel we're going in a very positive direction, both in terms of the graduation rate going up, dropout rate going down, and then again setting our students up for success as they go off to higher education. So any questions, anything I can help with?
Mr. Dell, I just want to brag real quick on your dropout report being above rate there. That's good. And I think Mr. Swanner being here tonight is a great example of some of the programs that we offer. You've mentioned EHS Works, whether it be the Fab Lab or Foundry, excuse me, as he likes to call it. But and we started VOAG. We've got aviation, Lincoln, all these programs that we have in place. That's really indicates or has a big influence on that number there, and making sure that we're keeping the kids engaged at school, finding something for every kid has been very successful, and I think that's positive information.
It's huge. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Liddell. Okay. Item C is an action item, and it's teacher empowerment. I'm going to talk a little bit about teacher empowerment and ask Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Rader to help go over some of the things I might not hit on. Teacher empowerment grant, is designed to reward some of our high-performing classroom teachers, and this is funded through the Oklahoma Education Lottery Trust Fund. At the beginning of the year, this lottery trust fund had almost $58 million in it, sitting in there. In the past, we chose not to be a part of this teacher empowerment because of primarily two reasons. Number one, the money that was issued out had to have a state match, or excuse me, a local school district matching funds. So if it would have been $3,000, we would have had to kick in $3,000, or $10,000, we would have had to kick in $10,000. And the bigger problem was that it was considered salary and not a stipend. So if we gave an employee $10,000 one year, then we'd have to match that for the remainder of their contract. So financially, it just didn't make any sense. Those restrictions have been taken off now. This is a one-year stipend, and it essentially falls in three categories. Advanced, which would be $3,000 additional for the teacher. Lead would be $5,000 for the teacher, and master would be $10,000 for the teacher. And again, this would be a one-year basis. This would be a stipend. One other factor is that only 10% of our certified staff would be eligible for this. When you look at Enid Public Schools, that would be 49 staff members would be eligible. Since a lot of the restrictions have been lifted and made it much more flexible in school districts, we met with EEA. EEA gave us their approval. They are in support of that. Hopefully, I seek your approval tonight. Once we get your approval tonight, we will meet with our principals on Wednesday and then push out the application to our teachers before fall break so they would have time to apply over fall break. Once we got all the applicants in, we could then finalize the applicants, make the selection, and submit it to the Oklahoma State Department of Education. So a couple other things I'd like to say. This is a really good opportunity to bring in some additional funds and reward our staff members. This is on State Department's money. This is not out of our budget money. And I think it also give our great teachers, and we have great teachers all across the board, an opportunity to step up and lead collaboratively across the district. I see nothing to lose here. I think we should explore this and try this and reward some of our great teachers across the district from pre-K all the way up to seniors. Randy, Jane, you want to chime in on this? Did I cover everything?
I think you covered it well. I think the thing that this allows us to do is do it unbiased, and I think that's something we were concerned about. Since only 10% qualify for this, we've created a fair rubric. The EEA has looked at it. It's very transparent, and we'll be able to reward those teachers, and then the next year the cycle will start over. And so I think that's a very fair way to do it. Before, when it was going to be part of their salary, once you quote unquote pick that 10%, then you couldn't really undo that. And I think this is the most fair way to do it. And I'm glad the state has allowed us to do this, and I think we're going to be able to get some extra money to some teachers that are deserving, and I know we can use some help across the district in some of those areas of expertise. So I think it's a really good deal.
Yeah, Mr. Rader mentioned the rubric. It is there in your packet. You can look at that. It talks, many things are taken into that rubric. Number one is attendance, being an Oklahoma certified teacher, being a PLC leader, have to have a high score on their teacher evaluations and a letter of endorsement from their principals. And also, here's the application that we will be sending out to our teachers. So I seek your approval. I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but I think it's a wonderful opportunity.
I move the approval of the Enid Public Schools Teacher Leader Program.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. I did have one question, Dr. Darrow. If you have, say you have more than 49 teachers that want to do this, how are you going to?
We feel like it'll be kind of like a golf thing. You know how if you're third place, you're listed as third place all the way down, and then it's kind of like if we have if we have 46 through 48 that are 50 even that have the same score, we'll have to cut it off back to that. We may not have 49, I guess, to answer your question. If
you've got
at some point you're going to have the same score, and we'll have to cut it off at that because of the rubric, we're not going to pick a favorite, if that makes sense.
Gotcha.
I have a question. What has your conversation been about the following years? So next year, if teachers apply for it, but they got it last year and they may not get it the next year, how is that going to play out?
I hope it builds. I hope we continue building on it. I hope this is just the start of it.
Can add more
Yeah, absolutely.
positions.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's always, according to the state, it's always going to be 10%. So everybody will have to reapply again. It'll go through the same rubric, and everybody will have the same shot.
So there's a chance someone might get the $10,000 this year and next year have a cut in what they make.
That's why.
Stipend.
That's why it's a
Right,
stipend.
but it's a stipend,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, stipends are never guaranteed. So,
Right.
which is hard if
I'd
that
hope it
comes into your
creates
salary at some point.
desire to
Yeah,
work harder and
absolutely. Absolutely.
Work for it, but, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll vote. Matt Loman,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Kim Tinius,
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson,
Yes.
and Chad Mance, yes.
Well, thank you for your approval of that. Again, we will meet with our principals on Wednesday and go over this, go over the rubric, go over the application, and we'll get this sent out to our teachers before fall break, allow them an opportunity to work on it. And I just think it's a wonderful opportunity. I appreciate your support on this, and we'll report back to you this summer, see how it goes. Okay, item D, student enrollment numbers. I pulled up Power School this morning, and we were at 7172, and I was told we have 12 pending enrollments, so we're hovering around that 7,200 mark, just a little bit below 7,200. Oddly enough, as I've reported to you, our enrollment is down compared to previous years. Oddly enough, our enrollment at the high school is up about 16 to 20 kids compared to last year. So sports fans, I'm telling you, that's probably going to be 6A again next year. That's always the question I get, but looks like 6A again. That takes me to item E, which is an action item, and that is our capacity numbers. After we enter fall break, we're going to enter to our fourth quarter, and we need to keep these capacity, we need to address these capacity numbers every quarter. No changes there. I just seek your approval to continue forward.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, let's vote. Matt Loman,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Kim Tinius,
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson,
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes.
Thank you for that. We'll get that updated on our website. Okay, and then it takes me to, item F, which is an action item, and also, that's our gifted and talented plan. I've asked Mrs. Jones to come to speak to us tonight. She's got some revisions she'd like to propose. She's worked very hard with this with Mr. Rader and Mrs. Bushman, and you should have a handout there. And saying that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Kristen.
Thank you. Our gifted program continues to grow. We've specifically targeted growth at the elementary level, and over the last 3 years have moved from about 42 kids qualified to about 150 kids qualified. So we're super excited about that growth. And with growth came an opportunity to take a look at our policies and just make sure that everything was good to go. Content-wise, we're not changing a whole lot, but the policy did shrink from about a 20-page document to about 4. So I wanted to make sure it was clear as to why we were doing that. I did change the format. It was an outline format. I moved it to a narrative, so that took care of quite a bit of the space. Took out some of the specific language. There were references to specific events or contests that students would participate in. Moved that language to may include but is not limited to make sure that our kids had an opportunity to participate in whatever contests or competitions fit their gifted or talented area. We also took out the level specific, what I'll call level specific plans. Elementary, middle, and high school all had a single page their own, and they were kind of all read the same. So for brevity and to reduce some of the repetitive language, shrunk that down as well. The 2 content changes to that policy. First, we did move from, or I am proposing the option to move from a local advisory committee to a curriculum advisory committee, which is allowable under the Gifted and Talented statute. The local advisory committee limits us to a certain number of committee members. Each committee member has to be approved by you, and that there are specific requirements for that group of 9 to 10 people. We really wanted to have more stakeholders involved in the decision-making than that. And so we had, after taking a look at the statute and options there and the regulations, we have an option to do a curriculum advisory committee, which allows us to have myself and Tyler Elders, our secondary curriculum director, serve as co-chairs, and does not limit us in terms of the number of people that we can have at the table to help with planning and contributing to decisions for this gifted and talented program. Certainly something we want to continue to celebrate with our kids and push with our kids. So that gave us some more flexibility in terms of the guiding committee. It does give us an opportunity to open that up annually. The local advisory committee has a 2-year commitment, and after 2 years, people roll off and we vote more in and that sort of thing. So curriculum advisory just gave us some flexibility that we did not have under the local advisory. The last change that I'm proposing for this particular policy is to remove what I would call working documents. The parent letters that we send home, the score reports that we write up, all of those are currently formatted in our policy, which means that if someone needs to change their name on a letter, we've got to come back to you guys and make some revisions and things like that. So our working documents will continue to be part of what we do, procedural, and part of how we document this program and its efforts, but just proposing to take that out of the formal document, the formal policy, to give us kind of some space there as well.
Board members, you've got the packet there with the plan that Ms. Jones is talking about, and if you look on the very last page, that is just her short version of just the minimal changes that she's done, and primarily has been a removal of a lot of repetitive language, was a lot of it, right, Kristen?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So.
I have a question for you. How many do you anticipate being on the curriculum advisory committee?
So right now we have at least one from every elementary. We have some representation at middle, I think 2 representation at middle, and 3 from the high school currently. We would like to see that grow in terms of middle school involvement. Right now, the one person that we have, or 2 that we have committed, we didn't get to see in September. Our schedules didn't line up, so definitely want to grow that middle school representation if we could. Yeah, I'm very pleased to have one from every elementary, however. That's helpful.
Very good.
Yeah.
And that's a different individual from each elementary, or
Yes.
are there? Okay.
It's a different person from every, yes.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Uh-huh.
That is an action item, and certainly seek your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, let's vote. Matt Loman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Tinius?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Jones. Thanks for coming tonight. Thanks for your work on that. Okay, it takes us to item G, which is just a discussion item. That's going to be over Eisenhower and our update. You've got some new renderings there at your area, some color pictures from the architects. As you can see, things are moving right along, moving well. I just want to report back, Dr. Robinson continues to work with our architects regularly, about every week or every 2 weeks. We're still processing, filing, and receiving claims from the federal government, so that's a good thing. And our application has been sent in to our contact for the build portion, but it has not been formally approved yet, but our application has been submitted there. Dr. Robinson, you want to chime in on anything there?
We have submitted the proposal, and then the full application. As you know, federal government has a lot of processes, so we're working through all those steps right now. The renderings, just so you guys kind of know what we're looking at here, one of the architects, one of his thoughts was, let's kind of keep this building somewhat in line with the Southwest theme that's already at Vance. I don't know, that goes back some years ago is the story I was told. We're not going with quite the red slate roofs and all those things, but that's really kind of why that brown brick was slated, and the angled columns, kind of a Southwest type theme. One thing in the renderings that I do want to point out is that even though there's like those white cherry trees or whatever around the building, we will not have any trees around Eisenhower. And that's not because Sam doesn't like trees. I just want to be clear on that. So that is one flaw in the rendering. Ken Corbin pointed it out to me the other day. It's actually a security feature around this building. We have to meet certain security criteria, and one of the security criteria is you can't have trees within a certain perimeter of the building. So, that checked a big box for me, but it is a security feature. So when you go out there and you're like, Sam, I thought we were planting trees at that building. We can't plant trees. We can have small bushes, small plants only. So anyways, that's kind of where the building at. Playground, still some more detail to be added. Really, I'm excited not only about what you see on the outside, but I think the inside of this building. I wish we had some renderings of it, but just to kind of give you some details, we're looking at going with all tile floors in there. We're going to have solid countertops in the classroom, so no Formica, really a countertop kind of like what you see right there. And I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm pretty proud of this fact, but I think this is going to be one of the best elementaries we have in the district. And you can kind of see that from the outside of it. We don't have any other elementaries that look like that, and the inside is going to be even better than what you see on the outside. So pretty proud of this. I'm looking forward to the day where we open the doors up, hopefully a couple of years from now, maybe a little sooner, we can do the big tour of the place.
I'm quite amazed and appreciate all the work that's gone into that. It's I would like to ask, is that the newly invented never leak flat roof?
So, flat roofs aren't flat anymore. Did you know that? Yeah, so this roof will actually have slope to it. You just can't see it. So this meets all the new R30 insulation criteria, but it actually will have a pretty good fall to all the edges. But it is still considered a flat roof, you're right. But hopefully it never leaks, because that's what we're going for. The gym, so you see that high-rise part right there, that's the gym, and that's a concrete box, because that is the storm shelter. So that's also the never leak concrete building that we're putting in there as well. So anyways.
Okay, Dr. Robinson, on that raised up gym area on the last picture, do you see the eye on the roof?
Oh, there is an eye.
It's an eye for Ike.
Ike. There you go.
I think that was designed. I think that was done. Had nothing to do with it, but I just looked at it. Sorry.
I'll ask Ken if that was intentional next time I see him. Yeah, you're right. Because you can see it from the planes flying over. That's right. Okay.
It is going to be super awesome, super fun. But, any other questions, board members? Okay. I'll move to item H. This is going to be a lengthy talk here. I'm going to read this action item to you, but first of all, just before I read it, I just want to remind everybody we have a wonderful agreement with NOC, and we're working so well together with NOC and Enid Public Schools. A couple things. We obviously have our concurrent program where we're graduating kids with an associate's degree out of the high school. We're hosting a cross-country meet out there tomorrow. We put down the lights last year for Failing Field. So this is basically a continuation of that. And I'm going to read this action item and then let Dr. Robinson chime in as well. Item H, discussion and possible action to approve the capital project agreement with Northern Oklahoma College to jointly develop and construct an athletic training and education center, Failing Field. That will include classroom space, laboratory space, and athletic training room, office space, restroom, concession area, and parking for a jointly used facility on the campus of NOC in Enid, Oklahoma. Enid Public Schools will forward fund and enter into a contract with NOC, repaying Enid Public Schools as the project progresses. NOC P3 Public-Private Partner Fund, $675,000. NOC College Foundation, $361,500. Enid Public Schools, $500,000, utilizing municipal tax levy Fund 25. Dr. Robinson, I spoke about this last month. You saw some renderings over this. And Sam, you want to take it from here?
So I think it's really important, number one, to point out when we were talking about earlier, the pie. Partners in Education. This is truly a partner in education, both with NOC and then NOC coming back to us as well. One of the things I think that's also important to point out is that NOC really is the bulk of the funding on this. So they're over $1 million of this project. The P3 funds are what I couldn't remember the other day. So it's that private-public partnership. That's our income tax that we remit to the state actually comes back to pay this. So our employees, NOC's employees, that payroll tax comes back for that $675,000. Their foundation is currently fundraising on the other half of this, and then our portion of this would be $500,000. Now, I'm going to say this out loud in hopes I don't jinx it, but NOC is working on a grant right now. They're actually in the second round of that grant process to where that $500,000 could be covered. So Enid Public Schools could not be out the 500,000. But I want you guys to remember, this is being forward funded by the school district. So whenever I bring that contract to you guys, and it's going to be for more than 500,000, remember NOC is paying us that back as they get it. There is a possibility that next month I could be bringing a purchase order to you guys to start demolition earlier than we have a bid contract on this, because we really need to get the old stuff out of the way. We need to get to work on that because these P3 funds, NOC is really needing to get those spent down. So, and they just need to spend 10% of that down. So if we can start that 10% on the demolition, then we can bid out the rest of the project, and that puts everything right in line where it needs to be with getting this project completed. Hopefully by this coming summer is the ultimate for completing. We still think that we can play baseball, middle school baseball out there. If NOC needs to use it for softball, they'll still have that ability. It's just going to have a really short backstop. That's the one thing that's going to happen. May not have the best bleachers, but if weather holds out right, who knew it was going to rain today, but if weather holds out right, we could have bleachers, and they could actually be building a building up behind it if everything unfolds on this project just right. So again, we cannot go and build a full-size baseball field that's going to be like this for $500,000. And so this investment in our community, in NOC, and for Enid Public Schools, to me, it stretches across more than just our program. It stretches to the community and to NOC, and that's really why we're proposing to use Fund 25, is because that's municipal tax levy that was years ago, and this is the residual dollars off of that fund to be spent. So sales tax, we're reinvesting it back in the community, not only our benefit, but the benefit of several others.
I just want to jump in and echo what Dr. Robinson said. You know, our primary field is David Allen, but David Allen gets used a lot, as you guys know. This is a wonderful opportunity for us to have a second field for our junior high, for our JV, for our varsity, and there's no way we could get it for anything that we're proposing tonight. Happy to answer any questions you might have.
Sounds like a wonderful project. Just curious of, as far as management, time splitting with NOC, any potential conflicts with them needing the field when we need the field, just different timing?
I think it's completely different timing. They will hold the schedule, but in our agreement that we did last year, we are the first chance and opportunity to use the field. Just like cross country, they're the first chance to use the old golf course out there. We have not had any scheduling conflicts that I'm aware of. The biggest conflicts come at David Allen. When they want to hold a tournament, when they need to have practice, they work around our schedule, we work around theirs. This really frees it up to where, 40, 50 middle school kids, maybe another 20 ninth grade JV kids, whatever, they get another field to go to, have a full practice, and they're not up there on that little field outside of David Allen or in a little batting cage, practicing for 2 hours and not really getting the full effect of what baseball is.
And the lights last year really allowed us the opportunity, because before lights, we were done at daylight, obviously. So now with the lights, we've got more available space, more time in the day to use it.
Yeah. The lights helped the middle school win a game last year, by the way. It went to if the game would have ended when it got dark, we would have lost by 2 runs. The lights were on. We played 2 more innings, and we pulled it out and got a win. So thank you to the lights for the middle school getting a win. Yeah, just saying.
I move we approve.
Okay, we have a motion from Tori. Do I have
Second.
a second? I have a second from Matt Lohman. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow?
Yes.
Matt Sampson?
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes.
Well, thank you for your approval there, and look forward to seeing that in upcoming months. Last thing for me is item H, and that's just a discussion of United Way campaign. As you all know, we are a very proud supporter of United Way, and we'll begin our annual campaign after fall break. In November, we will be recognizing the large school winners, small school winners, and department winners. Right, Jane? That's right. So just a reminder to everybody, in saying that, President Mance, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Darrow. That takes us to item 4, regular business. 4A is discussion and possible action to approve the following consent agenda items, and those are items 1 through 5. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion from Kim Tinius.
Second.
A second from Randy Long. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote. Matt Lohman?
Yes.
Randy Long?
Yes.
Kim Tinius?
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes. Okay, that takes us to B, discussion and possible action to approve the district financial report for September 2025. Dr. Robinson.
All right, just a little note here, encumbrances on the general fund, which is top line, we're trending about $500,000 less than last year, which means we're right on target with our budget. Because if you guys remember, we're about 1.2 million less in state aid. There's a little bit of a cut. So if you're 500,000 down now, as we go through the year, kind of keep that number. It's going to grow a little bit. We should come in right at close to a break-even budget. Still a few unknowns out there, kind of like Dr. Darrow alluded to. We're working on some technology stuff right now. You guys might see a PO coming for new interactive boards to buy 100 of those, about $173,000. So that can impact the ebb and flow of that, but we have to keep those kind of things going in our classrooms. If we don't have them, instruction can falter. So again, while we're sitting in a great position today, there's some unknowns still. We're a long ways till the end of school. But again, collections are looking good, budget's looking like it's right on target, and we'll hopefully have a formalized budget to you guys November, December board meeting sometime in that time frame.
Okay, thank you.
Move we approve.
A motion by Tori,
Second.
second by Kim Tinius. Any discussion? Okay, let's vote. Matt Loman,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Kim Tinius,
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes. Item C, discussion and possible action to approve the annual election resolution 686 for the 2026 school election for board seats 4 and 5. Sam.
So just remember, the board is the only body that can call an election for the school district. This is calling for the election for those board seats. Those election dates, just so everybody's really clear, if we have more than 2 candidates file for any one of those seats, the primary is on February 10th. If we have 2 or fewer candidates file, 2 candidates file, the election will be on April 7th. If we only have 1 candidate, then it's by acclamation and unopposed, and so April 7th they could be seated after that point in time. So December, the 1st of December is the filing date on this. But again, these 2 board seats just need your approval. And I take this to county and they'll set up the election for us and everything moves as needed.
If we don't call for the election, we just keep the ones that we have?
I wish I could say yes.
No? Okay.
I can't. So, yeah.
Move we approve.
I have a motion by Tori,
Second.
second by Randy. Is there any discussion? All right, let's vote. Matt Loman,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Kim Tinius,
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson.
Yes.
Chad Mance, yes. Okay, item 5 is new business. Any new business?
I don't have any new business, but I do want to remind everybody we're having parent-teacher conferences tonight and tomorrow. So if you missed parent-teacher conferences tonight, you catch them tomorrow. And then we've got fall break this coming Thursday, Friday, and Monday, and we'll resume classes on Tuesday, which will be the 21st. So just a reminder.
Okay, thank you. Item 6, reports, items of information, board comments, and/or questions. Carl Jans, you have anything for us?
Only thing I would like to say is, first of all, I appreciate the thoughtful consideration that's going into Eisenhower. I know that I can speak for all the parents that send their children to that school off base, and certainly for those that are on base as well, that they're going to certainly appreciate having a first-class school for their children to have their education there. It is fantastic. Thank you so much.
Gladly. Okay, any board comments or questions from anyone else? Okay, item 7, the next regular meeting will be November 17th, 2025 at 6 p.m. right here. Item 8, discussion and possible action to approve executive session in room 123 to discuss the employment of those individuals and/or positions listed on the attached Exhibit A and Exhibit B. Negotiations concerning employment and/or representation of employee groups and possible purchase or appraisal of real property.
So moved.
Okay, I
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote. Matt Loman,
Yes.
Randy Long,
Yes.
Tinius,
Yes.
Tori Turnbow,
Yes.
Matt Sampson,
Yes.
Chad Mance. Yes, we're in executive session. 7:04.